Hi everyone, my name is Vishali. I'm the assistant editor at CA Club India. And recently we have started with this video series which we call Ask the Expert, wherein we are going to give you guys a chance to ask your questions to the experts directly and we'll try and get them answered. So in today's session, we are going to be talking about how CA students can ace articleship and job interviews. Today we have with us Vishal Chitlangya. Vishal is a qualified chartered accountant. He has an experience of working with one of the big four organizations and has recently made it to IIM Bangalore. So last week we uploaded a picture of Vishal on our Instagram page and we asked you guys to send us the questions that you would want Vishal to answer for you. So we did receive a bunch of questions. Some were related to CA, MBA. But since this session is about interview, so we are going to stick to those questions only. We did receive a lot of questions, but we've just selected the best five and we'll try and get them answered. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so our first question is from Ayush Sahu. Vishal, Ayush wants to know that what are the basic things that one should know before appearing for an interview?
So, coming to basics, first things first, that is subject knowledge and a bit of current affairs are a must. So, this goes without saying. So, I'll not be spending time on this talking about it. But apart from these, there is a laundry list of things which one should take care as a candidate appearing for an interview. So, if we say what is an interview, it is an interaction by which the interviewer will be trying to understand you and that too from your responses. So the first step is knowing yourself. So while starting an interview with a question like tell me something about yourself might sound cliche, but it is still prevalent at most of the places. And this being an open-ended question gives you enough room to steer your interview. So I call these as the opening remarks. So this matters a lot. So because knowingly and unknowingly, the interviewer will frame his thoughts about you and your personality with your response to his first question. So apart from this, it is important. So it is important to pen down everything about yourself, your family background, education, achievements, extracurricular activities, interests, hobbies, etc. So writing makes your thoughts very clear and help you structure your conversation in very efficient manner. And also, I would suggest you create a bird eye view of the responses which you will give and follow up questions that can come from the interviewer's end and based on your responses. And apart from this, few basics would also include knowing about the company, visit their website, search for some news articles which has there been recently in various sources. Then knowing about the role applied for, read, talk to seniors or people who have been in the similar roles in different companies. And an important document that is CV, it is required everywhere. So it is advisable that you prepare your CV properly and get it vetted from your seniors, mentors who have already been through this stage. Then one should try to anticipate the question or the kind of questions can be asked generally in such kind of role or the company. You may talk to seniors or people who have already been interviewed at that place. So this will give you extra time to properly frame your answers and which will eventually boost your confidence.
All right, Vishal. So let's move to the next question. Our next question is from Anshuman Singh. In fact, Komal Savashir has the same question. They are asking that what is the process of getting into Big Fours and what are the most asked questions in interviews for articleship?
So recently, since recent 4 or 5 years, what I've observed is Big Fours are also coming to ICI's campus placement. So one of the sources is obviously campus placement, but there I would suggest you check the role they are offering and whether you want to take it up or not. Secondly, Big Fours generally leverage very highly on their own massive employee strength, and they ask for references from within the employee group. So for this, one can focus on building their network online through LinkedIn during the CA study phase, which can eventually help them at a later point in time. And now coming to the interview process. I'll speak briefly about both articleship and the post qualification. So generally, articleship interviews are very short. They focus mainly whatever is stated in your resume, CV. then few basic academic questions on accounting standards, auditing standards, or recent amendments you can expect. Apart from that, there can be generic questions as in why do you want to take articleship in Big Four and not a mid-size firm, CA firm? Or if you have some preference for non-audit line of service, you can be asked some questions related to that subject itself. One thing I would suggest is you need to show that you are confident. Do not bluff anywhere, even if it may happen that you may not know certain question. So it is okay to say politely, okay, I don't know this question. It is totally fine. So you must reflect that you have that willingness to learn and you are ready to work properly. Going to the second stage, that is the post qualification interviews. These are these are very different from the articleship interviews, I would say. So if I can compare as a newborn baby who is just outside the cocoon in a professional world, so they'll not expect that you are super sharp in all the technical aspects, the legal aspects or no. But the bare minimum expectations is whatever you have studied and whatever you have worked during your 3 years of articleship, you should know. And they'll try to judge the nature and the quality of work which you have done in these 3 years of the articleship. So there can be questions such as some basic academic questions, such as what relating to the role applied for. If you are applying for corporate and international tax, then you can expect something on uh, treaties, permanent establishment, or ICDS, India's tax impacts, and etc. So you should have at least a basic understanding of these concepts. Secondly, while gauging that how qualitative was your articleship experience, they'll ask you generally about the kind of assignments handled, what was your role in it, what were the challenges, what are your learnings. So what I'll suggest is you should properly write down the different kind of good quality assignments you have done, description of the assignments, what was your role, challenges, what are your learnings, or what important role did you play in such assignments. So by writing, this will help you to frame a easy uninterrupted story which you can narrate in your interview, because if you have written, you exactly know all the details of the assignments and all. Apart from this, they may also test your analytical skills. So I've seen that interviewer give you a balance sheet or an annual report or a case, and you are asked to read the case, analyze the case, and give your comments then and there. So you can try your hands on some kind of cases or reading annual reports and uh, jotting down your pointers before going to an interview, so it doesn't come as a surprise to you and you do not fumble there. Apart from these things, as a fresher, an interview is also looking that he'll give more weightage to some qualities such as how much hungry you are for learning and growing, your articulation and communication skills, your clarity on long-term goals, interest in the subject for the role you are applying. So there may not be specific questions to score you on these parameters, but your interview overall, the interviewer will generally score you or understand your personality on these points from your responses of the overall interview. Um, One more thing which clicks me is the interviewer would also want to know your approach, maybe on subject related cases or current affairs, generally non-technical thing, that how do you understand a particular topic, then how do you come to your viewpoint on the topic, and how do you articulate the same. So these things are also checked at times. Again, lastly, the basics of all interview, like being confident, not bluffing, are non-negotiables and applicable here and everywhere.
Very well answered, Vishal. Our third question is from Anurani754. I guess it's a very important question and concerns all of us. Anurani is asking that people are losing jobs due to COVID-19 outbreak. What to do to increase one's chances of getting selected for a job position? I guess that's a very good question, since we all are in a lockdown and we know that unemployment is surging due to COVID-19. So, what tips would you like to give to the students, Vishal, that what are the things that they can do to work on their communication skills so that they become all ready to appear for a job interview?
So, yes, COVID 19 has had a large scale impact till now. Many people have lost jobs, and even for newly qualified professionals, their job offers have been revoked. So, one immediate action point which clicks me is at this point in time, which you should do is upskilling yourself. So, one point where majority of CA students and even qualified CAs lag is that understanding business world, markets, economy. There's a lack of understanding in these areas because of lack of regular reading. So I would suggest you should develop a habit of regular reading of business newspapers, magazines. Currently, I'm using Maxter, an app called Maxter for reading online in this scenario. You may pick up few good books, understand market and economy. So how will this help is this will help you broaden your ability to understand even the client's business and impact of such macroeconomic things on the client's business. So this will help you add value to your work wherever you are, maybe in practice for your clients, or maybe you are in consultancy or in corporate. And also, I would suggest to upskill yourself technically on legal updates, attending webinars, doing courses, and maybe you may pick up subjects which you haven't done properly, which you haven't studied till now. Maybe some financial modeling course or finance course if you want to go in that field. And one more important thing is building your professional network on LinkedIn. So this will increase your visibility so you should increase your visibility rather, I would say, by posting or reading and commenting on the people who are posting. So apart from the other benefits of this enlarged network, a good profile and a stronger network on LinkedIn may help you finding a job in a situation like today.
Okay, so moving on to the next question, which is from Suman Chetwani, CA Suman Chetwani. And she's asking that when switching from one industry to another, uh, what are the possible reasons that one can cite on being asked about the same in a job interview?
Ideally, picking up a reason to change job from a list of plausible reasons which are available online is not the correct approach. So, in case you want to move from one job to another or one company to another, I would suggest you take a step back, introspect, and find out the real reasons which made you take this decision. So, it could be mismatch in your expectations in terms of the kind of work being offered and the kind of work being offered or your expectations for the same, or maybe you want to change your domain, that is you want to move from an audit role to a tax role or switch to a finance role, maybe business side of finance or the accounting role which is offered in corporates. So in each case, whatever may be the reasons, you should be able to substantiate your reasons with an acceptable basis that why you want to switch, and it shouldn't appear as if it is a casual decision just to hop companies. I'm not liking the company or the work there, and so I'm hopping the company, switching the company. And you should have thorough understanding of the new role or the industry or the company which you are aiming or looking forward right now. So this will reflect that okay, your decision is very well thought and there's clarity in you among your in terms of your long term plans.
Moving to our very last question, which is from Rhythm Sharma 09. And Rhythm is asking that what can be mentioned on a resume to make it look more captivating for the interviewer when we haven't achieved anything yet and are in the very initial stage of our career?
Preparing a CV for the first time is a massive task, and that too, writing achievements in the CV in this early stage of your professional career itself is again another task. So how do I look at it is that achievements are not limited to getting a rank in SSC, HSC or college or C exams or winning some state or national level competitions. But achievement can be being a schoolhouse captain, being a part of CA Students Association management team, college club, organizing an event in college, being consistently amongst the top 5-10 percentile of the students in the class in school and college. So these all are also achievements which should be mentioned without any doubt in your CV. And the thought behind this is the interviewer is not trying to understand how good you are in the non-academic things, but these list of achievements reflect some positive personality traits about you. For example, if you say you are in top 5, 10 percentiles in school and even in college, this shows your dedication, discipline. Then being part of the management teams or the college clubs, this show that you have good management skills and the people skills. So I would suggest you sit and think, and such mentionable points will surely come up uh, through your journey, school journey, or the college journey, or the CA studies. And you can always mention your hobbies and interests if you're following religiously. And for instance, if I say reading a particular genre of books or following technology, gadgets, being even a movie or sports enthusiast, even if you're not playing and if you're following it very much, then you can mention. And when you are mentioning specific things and not simply mentioning, okay, reading and listening to music, because these standard terms appear as if you have put it as a standard CV template, and these are not hobbies, your hobbies or interests. So try to be specific, and when you are being specific, you can always expect questions around it. So be prepared with enough content that you can speak on your interests and hobbies. And I've seen many cases where interviews are driven on the hobbies and interest part, which have impressed the interviewers. And these things have made notable contribution in the final selection procedure as well. So you may choose to mention these. And also, if you have done some social or community work, I would suggest that you should mention these things as well.
All right, these were the questions from the audience. One question that I would like to ask you, Vishal, on behalf of all the members of CA Club India, or on the follow or all the followers that we have on our social media channels, is that how did you manage to clear, or how did you ace your IAM interview? What was your strategy? Would you like to share some insights with us on the same?
Are very different, and they have tested me like enough. All kind of emotions were there when I was preparing or when I was giving interviews or I was waiting for results. There was excitement, there was nervousness, there was a lot of pressure. So B school interviews, I would say, are very different from the corporate interviews because they are checking your fitment for the program or for the college, not on the basis of your academic skills, because they've already filtered the academic criteria when you are being invited for an interview. So they want to check you as a person. How are your thoughts, or how much clarity do you have that why do you want to do an MBA, or how much aware you are about the non-academic subjects like current affairs, business news, your approach in terms of reading and knowing about any topic, your ability to see a particular situation or a case from different perspectives and frame your point of view, or pressure handling ability. So these things are tested at B school interviews, and there's a lot of things which have went for this preparation. So I started from brushing up my academics basics like accountancy, statistics, economics. Then while I had a habit of reading newspapers, so knowing about the current affairs topics was not a task for me, but I had to put in efforts to read in depth about them, and then to come up to my viewpoint on these, on topics such as CA, NRC, or US China trade war, US Iran relations, Indian economy, how we can improve in all these topics. So they expect you to know at least a little bit about these things. And they also check your process in how do you think about a topic, what is the basis which you take to coming to your viewpoint, and whether it is just not out of an instinct, and whether your viewpoint is based on proper facts and which are even true. So these things are checked. Further, one other side of B school interviews is they can go at stretch on your family background, hometown, your interest, etc. And I had prepared enough. I had literally written down every bit of information about myself, and when I'm expecting 2-3 layered questions around it. So if I give you an example, if your CV says you are from Ahmedabad, so it shouldn't be surprising if you're asked that how is the culture, what are the food habits, or name some famous personalities of Ahmedabad. How is the business scenario there, economic situation in Ahmedabad? And if I may say that if you're not knowing answers to these things, these may not be completely decisive or may not rule out your admission or final selection. But if you're not knowing these answers, if an interviewer is asking this question, it may create a friction and break the flow of your interaction with the interviewer, and then you should have that ability to handle the situation of the friction. So for B school interviews, you need to prepare yourself for all sort of questions and situations and handle it with confidence. And I would also add that while our articleship, job, or MBA interviews are the formal ones, uh, I believe that in life we come across interviews daily, maybe interacting with people at office or social interactions even. Every moment, whenever you're interacting, you are building your image, and the opposite person, knowingly or unknowingly, is judging you. So I would suggest build and prepare yourself in such a way that you are not prepared only for the formal interviews, but generally for every stage in life. Uh, I would suggest to do extensive reading on and expand your knowledge base by reading on different topics, which whatever may interest you, maybe nature, some art, human psychology, technology, anything that interests you. So these things will help you have a good meaningful interaction with anyone generally, whether or not in a formal interview or otherwise. And while an interview may be an important step to get in a company or a MBA school, the real challenge will be once you are selected, you need to prove yourself by working with the same zeal and enthusiasm which you have shown in the interview, and on which the interviewer has placed a bet on you. And the real learning happens on the job, and which will play an important role in shaping your career eventually. uh, I'm also open to any specific questions. If anyone has any specific questions, you may reach me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile name is Vishal Chitlangya, which you'll find in the description of the video here.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I believe you did get some very useful insights from Vishal, and you are going to implement them whenever you appear for your next job or articleship interview. So we are going to come up with a new video every week, wherein we are going to collect questions from you guys and we'll try and get them answered from our experts. So please do let us know in the comment section below that what topics you would want us to cover, which could be anything related to your career, your exams, or your professional life. We would be more than happy to get them answered. Also, please do like this video, share with your friends, and yes, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.